Hello grade 7. Today our lesson is about comparisons. The lesson will be divided into 6 subtitles. 1. Making comparisons with as. 2. Comparative and superlative. 3. Completing a comparative. 4. Modifying comparatives. 5. Comparisons with less than and not as. And 6. Using more with nouns. Starting with subtitle 1, making comparisons with as. As is used to say that the two parts of a comparison are equal or the same in some way. So pay attention, the comparison is made between two parts. We can use adjectives or adverbs to make a comparison. As plus adjective plus as, example, Tina is as old as Sam, the adjective is old. With an adverb, as plus adverb plus as, example, Mike came as quickly as he could, the adverb is quickly. Now the negative form of as is not as. Example, Ted is not as old as Tina. Quite and nearly are often used with the negative. Example, Ted is not quite as old as Tina to show a small difference. And Ted is not nearly as old as Tina to show a big difference. Common modifiers of as are just, meaning exactly, and nearly or almost. Example, Sam is just as old as Tina, just to modify as. And the other example, Sam is nearly or almost as old as Tina. We have nearly or almost modifying as. Subtitle 2, comparative and superlative. The comparative compares this to that or these to those. The form that we use is the suffix er or more. Notice a comparative is followed by than. Example, Jessica is older than Rita. We added the suffix er followed by than. Ed is more generous than his brother. We used more and the adjective is followed by than. The superlative compares one part of a whole group to all the rest of the group. Form, suffix est or most. A superlative begins with the. It's not followed by the, it begins with the. Example, a woman in Turkey claims to be the oldest person in the world. I have the adjective with the suffix est and before the adjective, we have the. Ed is the most generous person in his family. In this example, we used most, and before most, we used the. Subtitle 3, completing a comparative. In formal English, a subject pronoun, example I, he, they, etc., follows than. Example, I'm older than my brother is. In this example, we can omit the verb be is and say, I'm older than my brother. In the second example, I'm older than he is. When I have the subject pronoun that follows, then we cannot omit the verb be. Now, in everyday informal spoken English, an object pronoun, example me, him, us, often follows than. I'm older than him. And this is used with the informal spoken English. Frequently, an auxiliary verb follows the subject after than. The auxiliary verbs are be, have, and do. Example, he works harder than I do. Than I do replaces than I work. A possessive noun may follow than. Example, Anne's hair is longer than Kate's. Kate's is the possessive noun. Or a possessive pronoun may follow then. Example, Jack's apartment is smaller than mine, and mine is the possessive pronoun. Subtitle 4. Modifying comparatives. Very often modifies adjectives and adverbs. Example, Tom is very old. Very modifies the adjective old. Anne drives very carefully. Very modifies the adverb carefully. Very is not used to modify comparative adjectives and adverbs. So it's incorrect to say Tom is very older than I am. And it's incorrect to say Anne drives very more carefully than she used to. So what do we use to modify comparatives? Much, a lot, or far are used to modify comparative adjectives and adverbs. Example, Tom is much older than I am. Tom is a lot older than I am. Or Tom is far older than I am. Another example, Anne drives much more carefully than she used to. Anne drives a lot more carefully than she used to. Or Anne drives far more carefully than she used to. Another common modifier is a little or a little bit. Example, Ben is a little or a little bit older than I am. Subtitle 5. Comparisons with less than and not as. The opposite of er or more is expressed by less or not as. Pay attention, less and not as are used with adjectives and adverbs of more than one syllable. Example, a pen is less expensive than a book, or we can say a pen is not as expensive as a book. But only not as is used with one syllable adjectives or adverbs. Example, a pen is not as large as a book, and it's incorrect to say a pen is less large than a book. Subtitle 6. Using more with nouns. When more is used with nouns, it often has the meaning of additional. It is not necessary to use than. Example, would you like some more coffee? Like to mean additional coffee. Not everyone is here. I expect more people to come here. Additional people. More is also used with nouns to make complete comparisons by adding them. There are more people in China than there are in the United States. When the meaning is clear, the noun may be omitted and more can be used by itself. Example, do you have enough coffee? Or would you like some more? Instead of saying, or would you like some more coffee? Thank you, grade 7, for listening.